Big story came out yesterday. Actually, it's just a report, but it was enough to throw the fans into a Category 4 meltdown, Category 5 meltdown, Category 6 meltdown. My God. So it is now being reported that the main event of night one of WrestleMania is going to be Charlotte defending her SmackDown Women's title against Rhea Ripley. The horror. Everybody is so focused on one person and one person only, Charlotte. They cannot get past that Charlotte is in the main event. They forget everything else. They forget who Charlotte's opponent is. It's almost as if Charlotte is going to go into the main event of night one and wrestle herself in the ring, because that's the way fans are acting. And I never once looked at it like it was about Charlotte. This thing has felt right from the start that Charlotte was given the title to give it to Rhea Ripley. The way they have been booking Rhea Ripley since last year heavily implies that the plan is to belt this woman up at WrestleMania. Remember a few months ago when we heard early rumors of Rhea Ripley and Ronda Rousey? That's probably because Ripley has been penciled in to win the Royal Rumble the whole time. So Rousey at the time was champion. And then when we heard that went away, we heard some other rumors, maybe even Bianca and Rousey at one point or something. Rhea and Bianca, of course. But in the end, they brought Charlotte back as a babyface, which granted is weird. She beats Ronda Rousey, and now she's the champion again. So one mistake I think WWE is making is trying to make Charlotte a babyface. Everybody hates her, but she's a lot like Cena in 2014. And I've drawn comparisons to Cena's match with Brock at SummerSlam to this match with Rhea Ripley. I think that if you give us some sort of a squash, or if Rhea Ripley has some definitive win over Charlotte to where it's not necessarily a squash, but it's convincing. Because even at SummerSlam 2014, Cena got a few moves in, just not many. So if you have a match like that, I think it would be such a great statement win. Yes, Rhea Ripley is a heel. You usually don't have heels winning big, colossal main event moments like that, but sometimes you do, like at SummerSlam 2014. And so many of the fans in LA that night, myself included, is going to be very, very pro Ripley in that match. So to me, this whole time, Charlotte has been the last thing on my mind. She's the first thing on everybody else's mind. She's the last thing on mine. To me, it's not about Charlotte being in the main event of WrestleMania. It's about Ripley winning the title in the main event of WrestleMania from your most decorated women's star that you've ever had. But the fans can't get past that Charlotte's given this opportunity. Another WrestleMania match. They are so consumed by this anger that they forget that this is going to be a great moment for Rhea Ripley. And that's what I'm there to see this woman be smashed over in the proper way. Now, granted, this is all hinging on Charlotte losing. If Charlotte goes into the main event against Rhea Ripley on night one and beats her, then yeah, I'm in complete agreement with everybody that's shitting their pants right now, okay? No problem. This is every opinion that I'm saying here is based on the fact that I believe Charlotte's going to lose. If she wins, then we've got problems, admittedly. But if this is the match they're going to do, why is that so weird? You know, it's the title. It's what it feels like WWE might be trying to start this trend. They might be saying women's Royal Rumble winner, main events night one, men's Royal Rumble winner, main events night two. That way they can say the winner of the Royal Rumble gets to main event WrestleMania. Now, granted, I don't know when this rule started and when they made such a big deal about making it known that the winner of the Rumble is going to main event. I do think that paints them into a corner booking-wise, because before you did that, you can have that match anywhere. WWE making the decision, since they have two nights now, to put the men and the women in the main event, I guess that makes sense because it gives the Royal Rumble the highest amount of value. So I get it, but I do worry that they might book themselves into a corner when they run into situations like we're seeing here, where we have this great story that's been unraveling for the past year with the Bloodline, Sami Zayn, the Usos, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns. A lot of fans thought in their head, because I don't know who said this first, but once it was said for the first time, it snowballed, and that's what everybody talked about. The first person to suggest that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn should face the Usos in the main event of night one, this was probably originally suggested like 6 months ago. And once that was said, nobody really thought that that match could be any other place. It was never implied that it was going to be the main event. The fans felt like due to the size of the story involved here, that this match deserved to be in the main event. I agree. I do. If you wanted to put Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn against the Usos in the main event of night one of WrestleMania, Greg has no complaints. Absolutely. It's a great storyline. They're going to have a memorable match. A tag title match is going to main event WrestleMania for the first time ever. There's so many great things about that. But that doesn't mean that's the only way to do it. And if they don't do it this way, then the whole entire match is going to suck. How can you, do you hear yourselves? Not you guys, but the people saying this. Like, how can you make that statement that this match can only survive if it's the main event because it's the best story and it deserves the main event? Sure, all of that's true, but to act like this match can't happen unless it's in the main event is asinine. What little confidence you have in these great professionals, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Jey and Jimmy Uso. You have that little confidence in them that they can only produce a good match if they're in the main event? Why does everything have to be so black and white? Why can't there be any thought to anything? Okay, well, yeah, that match would have been great in the main event, but since it's not, where else could they put it that might be good? Here's an idea. What if it opens night one? The horror. Opening night one. You're going to have the hottest crowd possible. The hottest crowd of the whole weekend will be the first match of night one. What a way to start off WrestleMania. By having Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win the tag team titles in the first match. Crowd goes nuts. Ovation of a lifetime. And then Roman's got 2 full days to stew about that and let that get under his skin. You can cut backstage to him several times during night one and night two, watching him grow increasingly agitated, frustrated with the family letting him down and the cracks in the bloodline. They've already lost 4 titles. They might lose 2 more. He'll continue his abuse, continue to abuse Jey and Jimmy, who just lost their championships and could set up for a big turn or swerve in that main event where the bloodline turns their backs on Roman and he loses. Here's another idea. Why are we insisting that the tag team title match has to be on night one? Why? Tell me. Why must it be on night one and nowhere else? What if it opens night two? What if you open night two with the tag title match and close with Roman and Cody? Why is that unacceptable? Why? It's not unacceptable. It's perfectly fine. But the problem is fans have got such a stick up their ass about Charlotte that they can't think. And it ruins the experience for them. WrestleMania is ruined now because Charlotte is going to be in the main event. Is it just me, or do those people sound like f***ing children? Whining little bitches. Get over yourselves. It's not that big a deal. The Usos and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn can still have an amazing WrestleMania moment without it being the main event of night one. It doesn't have to be that way. If it was that way, would that be nice? Of course. It would be great for all 4 of those men if they got that opportunity. But it doesn't mean their whole situation is completely blown out of the water now because they're not in that match. That's the type of shit and the opinions that I see floating around so much on about WrestleMania and online is that you have fans who have literally had the WrestleMania experience ruined. I'm going to the show. I am not even remotely angry that Charlotte and Rhea Ripley is the main event. Because once we see where all these matches are placed, maybe we will realize that, hey, that really was the best place for the match because where they put the tag title match was even better. Fans have got this obsession with what wrestlers deserve. I seriously doubt Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Jimmy, and Jey Uso are nearly as distraught over this as the fans are. I don't think those 4 guys give a shit. I think they're ready to go out there and make history regardless of where their match is going to be on the show. There's a lot of WrestleMania matches like that were in the middle of the card that were just as memorable. And we have had plenty of WrestleManias where there has been a debate about which match should main event. WrestleMania 18 is probably the best example of that. And I think it's absurd for fans to let this ruin their experience just because they have a hate for a wrestler that is so deep and so profound that it literally clogs their brainwaves with bullshit. And I think that's a little bit silly. And I think wrestling fans need to realize that wrestling is wrestling. We're supposed to have a good time watching this. And to flip out over something so dumb is embarrassing. And everybody that was flipping out had some hardcore crazy opinion about what a spotlight hog Charlotte is. Get over yourselves. My God, you're an embarrassment. You're a fucking embarrassment. Chill. Everything is going to be fine. I promise. I promise.